What do you notice? So let me set the stage for why I'm making this video. You're a therapist, and you just got done learning EMDR. You're excited and you're ready to start implementing EMDR into your private practice so you can start f***ing up your client's trauma in a good way. But there's one obstacle getting in your way. You don't want to do that outdated, archaic hand-waving shit. So now you're looking up alternatives on how to induce bilateral stimulation so you can help people process their trauma. And then you hear about a solution. Tappers, or what some people call buzzies. Basically 2 pieces of plastic you give to your clients that vibrate one at a time, inducing the bilateral stimulation needed to help them process their trauma. But this sets us up for another problem. You've done your research and you've come to find out that there aren't actually any good tappers out there. At least that's the problem that I ran into. Let me explain. When I found out I didn't have to do this hand-waving Jedi mind trick shit, that there was technology out there that I could rely on and buy to do all the heavy lifting for me, I got excited. I was expecting to find a marketplace full of nice, sleek, high-tech, easy-to-use tappers. But instead I was met with outdated, cumbersome, expensive, ugly-ass tappers. Look at some of these things. They look like they're straight out of the 90s. They got wires and dials. Can you imagine me pulling out this old ass contraption out in the middle of therapy and trying to sell this to you as a thing that's gonna help you process your trauma? These things look like they still run on AA batteries. There's nothing sexy about them. So it goes without saying that I had a couple of problems with the options I was finding. Problem number 1, EMDR is a weird ass therapy. Let's not kid ourselves. Selling EMDR to some of our clients is half the battle. Again, imagine me pulling out these old ass contraptions in the middle of therapy. Some of my clients, especially the black ones, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna go there, aren't going to go for that shit. When I pull out my buzzies, I want to induce excitement and intrigue, not skepticism and paranoia. Problem number 2, I'm a man of tremendous style and swagger. I know you already noticed. I want my tappers to be stylish, something customizable, something I can hang on my office shelf, and when it's time to get down to business, I can pull it out, I can show my clients, it piques their interest, and we get down to the dirty business of healing their trauma. So, after initially being disappointed by the lackluster options, I continued to do a lot of research trying to find the right tappers for me. And I eventually found some more up-to-date wireless buzzies that also had a little swag to them. But the problem with these was that they were too damn expensive. I'm cheap, y'all. I can't justify almost spending $300 on a single-use piece of plastic that vibrates. So let me stop complaining and get to the point of why I made this video and the reason why you're here. Eventually, when I thought all hope was lost, I finally stumbled upon a solution. I could use Nintendo Joy-Con controllers. Let me break this down for you. I was looking for 4 things when searching for the perfect EMDR tappers. Reason number 1, they had to be a sexy piece of technology. I wanted something that I could make my own, something that had multiple colorways, something that I could customize if I wanted to, something that when I pulled them out to show my clients, they saw something fun and familiar. The Nintendo Joy-Con fits that requirement to a T. And just think about the name of the controllers. They're called Joy-Cons. Using Joy-Cons to heal trauma, perfect match. Next thing, I'm a cheap man. That doesn't mean I won't spend money when I have to, but it means that when I'm spending top dollar, it has to make sense. It has to be justifiable. Bilateral stimulation is simple. It's essentially 2 pieces of plastic that vibrate together, and also an app that's controlling it. In my opinion, there's no reason that this should cost more than $100, but the options I was finding were at least $200 to $600. Joy-Con controllers cost $80, and that's also with the added benefit that these controllers have use outside of just using them for EMDR. I can also game with them. I'm a gamer, I'm also a Nintendo fanboy, so I already had 6 controllers laying around, meaning that I didn't have to buy anything and I could start processing people's trauma that day. Quick side note, there's a chance that if you have kids or you're a gamer yourself, you might already have some Joy-Cons laying around. But if you don't have any Joy-Cons and you want to buy some, they cost $80 for a pair and $40 for one individual right controller. I have an affiliate link in my description, so you can use that if you want to buy some. Also, if you use the link to buy them, then you'll help your boy out with a little commission, so that's always appreciated. Reason number 3, the tappers I bought had to be a high-tech piece of quality machinery. My buzzies had to be wireless. I didn't want no ugly ass clunky wires because I think that when people are processing their trauma, they need their space. They don't want me all up in their face. They don't want to smell my breath. Also, I wanted something reliable. Nothing that I have to worry about dying on me mid-session or disconnecting during processing. Something I could put my trust into. So when it comes to Nintendo products, they're built strong to last long, baby. These controllers hold a 20-hour charge, they have HD rumble that gives them a crisp, smooth vibration experience, and they're made with little kids in mind. so they're not going to break. I wanted peace of mind, so me and my clients could lock in during our session. Speaking of peace of mind, that brings us to our last requirement. I want a simple and smooth user experience. I want an app with a user face that was smooth and quick, that was second nature, and would act as an extension of me in the heat of the therapeutic battle and wouldn't get in the way of the session. I found all these things, and this brings us to the reason why I'm making this video. I wanted to share this information with any other therapist that's desperately seeking to deliver a great EMDR experience for both themselves and their clients. So before we get started, you're gonna need a couple of things to set yourself up. Number one, we're gonna need 3 Joy-Con controllers, 2 right controllers and 1 left. You're probably wondering why you need 3 controllers. 2 are obviously tappers that you're gonna hand to your clients during processing, but 1 is for yourself to use as a remote to administer EMDR. Trust me, it makes the whole EMDR experience worth it. Affiliate links are in the description to buy. Second, you're gonna need an iPhone or iPad.
A serious question for you.
What's up?
What about non-iPhone users?
I don't know if there's an EMDR app for Android users.
That's fine.
Unfortunately. And you're also gonna need to go to the App Store to download the EMDR app. This will be our base of operations that will control all the settings and help you calibrate the speed, the intensity, the different types of BLS you want to administer to your clients during processing. Again, a link is in the description to download. And finally, number 3, you're gonna need a charging hub for your controllers. There's multiple that you can choose from. I went with the HyperX charging hub. I like it for a couple of reasons. It allows me to charge multiple controllers at once. It has a detachable USB-C wire, so when it's fully charged, I can put those ugly wires away and have a minimalist setup. There's a black one, and there's also a red and a white one. When I'm not using it, it's usually resting on my shelf in my office, but when it's time for traumatic battle, I can grab the hub, I can place it right next to my therapy chair. It's overall hassle-free and a smooth user experience. Also, it's not half bad to look at, so if you're interested, again, there's an affiliate link in the description to buy. So now that we got all that out of the way, let's get you set up. Our first step is to get your Joy-Cons connected to your iPhone. Go to your settings app on your iPhone and then hit the Bluetooth button. Now we're going to grab each Joy-Con. You're going to press and hold the little button on the side of each Joy-Con controller one at a time. This green light is going to start flashing and then eventually turn solid once you sync it to your phone. Now we're gonna go to the EMDR app. This is where all the magic happens, but also where things are going to get a little tricky. I love this app, but there's one con with it. You need 3 controllers when you should only need 2. Why is that? Because for some reason, the app registers the left and right pair as 1 controller. This means that they both vibrate at the same time instead of alternating vibrations. You can't achieve bilateral stimulation if both sides are vibrating at the same time. This is my biggest gripe with the app. Why the hell is there no setting that allows you to separate a pair of controllers into 2 individual controllers that vibrate separately? It absolutely makes no sense. So to counter this problem, you connect a 3rd Joy-Con controller. Yes, this will cost you extra money, and that's always annoying, but there's an added benefit. This 3rd controller allows you to turn the vibration on and off with a simple press of the button A. And I vastly prefer this way more than having to press the play button on the iPhone screen. It makes for a much more smoother experience. This also works for your client as well. Let's say that they're processing their trauma and all hell's breaking loose and they're starting to get overwhelmed. When they press the button A, it turns off the vibration and pauses the set without them needing to ask or verbalize things. The fuck is that? I feel that this is nice as it gives them a sense of power and control, and that's something that's very important when you're processing your own trauma. So now that we're all set up and ready to go, let me show you what this app is capable of. All right, let's start with speed. We have 3 different speeds that we can choose from. I personally use 0.8, which is slow, and 1.2, which is considered fast. 0.8 is for resourcing or helping people relax, and 1.2 is the speed I use for processing EMDR. You can customize the speed if you want in the settings. Let's move on to the next one. Next, we have repeats. Basically, this is the setting that allows you to choose how many passes you want in each set during EMDR. The great thing about this is that once you hit the number in your set, it automatically stops. This just helps to make processing a smoother, more hands-free experience. I set my sets to have 30 and 45 passes. 30 is what I use for processing trauma, and 45 is what I use to get the juices flowing on the first initial set to help people really drop down to the subcortical part of their brain where the trauma is. You can customize the number of passes you want from anywhere from 1 to infinity. The choice is yours. Next, we have sound. There's different ways of inducing bilateral stimulation. Maybe you have a client that prefers audio over tactile, but let's say that you want to get really freaky when processing your client's trauma. You can use tappers, and you can also combine it with sound. I've never tried this personally, I don't know how it's gonna work, but it's also an option. You have 3 different sounds that you can choose. You have the beep, which sounds okay. You also have the snap. This is honestly the best option. And then you also have the numbers.
3, 7, 3, 4.
Now this one, I don't know why anyone would choose this option. It's more likely to induce anxiety than actually help solve it. And last but not least, we have animation. Basically, it's just a different option movement that you have to choose from. I personally don't use this, but here's a screen recording of it in action. Outside of that, I'm not really going to go into detail about this one. I think it's self-explanatory. So you can customize most of your settings and tweak them to your own personal preference. And that wraps up the app. So, download it and see it for yourself and customize it to your heart's content. Let's move on. So before I wrap this video up, I want to point out one more con of using this app. It's not free. And even worse, there's a subscription model, so you can't outright buy it. The plan I use is $5 a month. For the work it enables me to do, it's completely worth it. If this video has convinced you and you want to use the app, I have a link in the video's description that will give you a 1-month free trial. I also have links to the Joy-Con controllers in the charging station that I use. I also want to say that this video isn't sponsored at all. I wasn't paid to say any of this. I just want to make a helpful video for any therapist out there who's not aware of the different options when it comes to their EMDR tappers. If you enjoyed this video but haven't yet been trained in EMDR, I don't know why you'd be watching this, but if you're that person, I have a video right here that I recommend. It goes into detail about the program I use to learn EMDR. It's a fun watch. It'll give you all the details that you need to learn EMDR and sign up for a training. It also shows what my experience was like learning EMDR. So if you're interested in learning EMDR and also seeing someone learn it for the first time, it's the perfect video for you. So I hope to see you there. Also, this is the end of the video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next session. God bless. See you guys later. So after being initially disappointed by the lackluster, I can't say this. Lackluster, sheesh.
Go slower.
So after being disappointed by the lackluster, Jesus, the lobster, red lobster. Let's do this one more time.
Your teeth stick out so much.
All right, let's try. All right, lock in, let's lock in. So after initially being disappointed by the lackluster, hold on, lackluster. That was all a little sketchy. What do you think?
Yeah, let's redo that whole thing, I think.
All right.